Imagine a room filled with kids, eyes wide open, sparks of curiosity flying as they explore the wonders of science. What if I told you it is easier than you think to ignite that passion in your after school program? STEM activities are more than just experiments, but they're the secret to creating innovation and problem solvers. Today, we're going to show you 5 exciting ways to turn your after school science club into a buzzing hub of creativity, discovery, and fun. We are joined today with Jolting Jonathan from Mad Science RI, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about how we can turn those ideas into action. So, welcome to the show, Jonathan.
Hi, how are you?
Fantastic. Well, we love Mad Science here for sure.
Thank you.
Mad Science has been coming to our after school and preschool programs for literally the last like 25 years.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember. Yeah, it's been.
yeah, you guys are great. You guys are
I was
super.
young and thin with hair.
Yeah. I was young with no wrinkles and gray hair.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we go back quite a bit. So I'd love to give folks a little bit of information that they can use right away to have an amazing science program in their schools. So let's start with like a first hand tip. What's like a hands-on science activity that's simple to set up, that requires like minimal resources, but sure to capture the kids' attention and get them excited about science?
So I, I tried to think of an example, and the problem is there are so many. There are so many, and it really it depends on the age of the kids you're working with. Um, but for example, one of my favorites that I just suggest to people um, who call in and talk to us or something is just a saucer full of milk, a couple of drops of food coloring, and then you just take a toothpick or a Q-tip or a chopstick and dip in a little bit of dish soap. Place it in the milk, and you're going to get this amazing kaleidoscope of patterns because of the fats in the milk and the dishwasher and the emulsification. It's all going to swirl around. There's all sorts of things you can do. You can do balance experiments if you don't have science equipment. Have a kid stand against the wall and then have them look at when they bend over. Can you stand with your back fully against the wall, your legs against the wall, and bend down and touch your toes? No, because your body needs to change. I mean, just simple physics, broomsticks. The world around us is all science. You don't need anything. You can do science with the things around you if you're just a little bit creative.
Yeah, I went to the Boston Museum of Science yesterday with my
Hmm.
grandkids, as you know, and they had an indoor playground, and it
Hmm.
was how seesaws work and how swings work. So you really truly can. And I know a lot of after school programs sometimes are, housed in the cafeteria of their local school, right? And so maybe if this is you, you don't have to, like Jonathan said, have tons of material. You just have to be intentional, look at what you do have for resources, and then look a few activities up. But I have always found the more mm, uh the more what's the word I want to use, like they love like when things are gross and they
Hmm.
love when things are messy.
Yep.
Or they love the anything with baking soda that just foams. They
Baking
love
soda,
that
vinegar.
elephant toothpaste. They love that stuff.
As
um
much as, and I know that any grown up who's listening to this right now, slime. We all hate it, but kids love it, and it's so simple to make. A little bit of Elmer's glue, some 20 meal team borax that our grandparents used as a laundry detergent, and some paint, and you can make this amazing putty slime, all kinds of things. There's science you can do everywhere. Just get a child. I did a thing for a major sporting organization that sounds like a certain color that starts with R and ends with Ed, and things you wear on your feet under your sneakers. And they had us bring in all this science equipment for middle school and high school kids, and we brought tons of stuff. And I spent an hour talking about balance. because these kids could not, and they did not understand. You set a chair down. I'm sitting in a chair right now. If I go to stand up, I can't. I have to physically move my body forward. I have to move my feet underneath me. I cannot just stand up if I'm sitting back. And it's all because of balance. And there's things that are scientific that we take for granted because we've been walking since we were a year old. You're using balance every step. You're taking all your weight, putting it on one foot,
Mm-hmm.
swinging your other foot forward. If you can find a way to engage kids and explain that to them, it absolutely blows their mind.
Yeah. All right. So let's think about tip number 2. How
Okay.
can after school programs create a welcoming and engaging environment where kids feel comfortable in experimenting and making mistakes? Because sometimes science we have to make mistakes to see what the outcomes are going to be. And maybe specific strategies to foster curiosity and that mindset of
hmm
it's okay to make mistakes. That's kind of how we learn.
Well, for example, in mad science, one of the things we do is everything is an inquiry-based method. It's what do we think is going to happen? We talk about the scientific method. We talk about observation, which is looking at things, hypothesis, which is the fancy word for guessing, and experimentation, which is the big word for try it. Scientists like big words. We don't look at things. We make observations. We don't guess. We hypothesize, and we don't try things. We conduct experiments. And we'll ask with almost everything we do, what do we think is going to happen? Okay, let's take that goal a little bit further. Is it going to be bigger, flashier? Or you mix the chemicals. Is it going to make a color? Is it going to get warm? Is it going to bubble? Is it going to explode? What's going to happen? But the most important thing, and I actually did this on Friday at a program, is I'll ask a question and kids don't want to answer because we unfortunately, and I understand why it happens, and I
Mhm.
know exactly what's going on, but kids are afraid to guess. Kids are afraid to say, I don't know. They're, we focus on them getting the right answer, not the process of learning. So I have worked it into every program I do that I know your teachers don't always want you to guess. I know your grown-ups at home don't always want you to guess. But here now in this place for the hour that we're here, I want you to guess. And even more than I want you to guess, I want you to get the wrong answer. I don't want you to get the right answer. If everybody knows everything, there's no point in us being here. But if you get it wrong, the next time you know, and that's how we learn.
Yeah.
Learning is more about our mistakes and our missteps than it is about always getting things right.
Yeah. I think too, there can be more than one outcome. There could be more, right? You can
Yeah.
drive to Florida in 19 different ways using 19 different roads, but you can still get there. So
hmm
I think too, just having kids have that open mind when it comes to trying things out is okay, that could be once what other things can happen when we put these things together, or when we do this experiment, or when we're thinking about, what could happen or not happen. Because sometimes we do experiments and nothing happens.
But nothing happens, and
Nothing happens, right?
it's
Yeah.
important for them to see that I'm the grown up who is normally in a lab coat. And even my experiments, and I do this for a living, they sometimes go wrong, and that's okay. That's how we learn. That's how some of the best decision things that have been invented. Penicillin
Yeah.
was a mistake. The light bulb was a mistake.
Yeah.
The ice cream cones. They ran out of bowls and they had to take a waffle and wrap it. It's the hot dog bun. These are all mistakes and things that came out of just okay, we messed up.
Yeah.
How do we fix it?
Yeah. Problem solving skills at their finest. All
hmm
right. So, tip number 3, this is definitely your wheelhouse, but science doesn't have to be all about experiments. What's one way after school programs can incorporate real world applications of science, maybe through guest speakers, field trips, or even virtual experiments that make learning come alive? So, tell us a little bit more about Mad Science for the folks who aren't there and how you guys help fill that need.
So, Mad Science has been in business globally for this is actually our 40th year. It was founded by two brothers, Ron and Ariel Schlein, in Canada 40 years ago. And they just happened to be nerds who saved their money from paper routes and bought a laser. And they took that laser and they bought a fog machine and they started doing laser shows for YMCAs and Boys and Girls Clubs, and it became wildly popular. And then they thought about franchising in the 90s. And here in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, I'm with Mad Science of Southern Mass and Rhode Island. We also cover Cape Cod, the islands. As of late, we've been covering the Boston area and pretty much everything east of the 495 corridor, so we drive a lot. But we do four main different types of programs. The one we do hands-on workshops. And what we do is actually we call it edutainment, and it's a cliched thing, but it actually really fits. And our programs are both educational and entertaining, and it depends on what we're doing where we focus that. We do our standards correlated workshops for school-age children. We have an entire series of preschool workshops, which, as you know, because we've done a lot for you. And those are more topic focused, more hands-on to get the kids really learning by doing. That's the best way to learn, is to see it, to do it, to touch it. We also have our after-school programs, which are very similar, but we try and make them a little bit more fun, because especially nowadays, these kids have been at school for 7 or 8 hours and they're wound up. So it's still structured because we're still at school, but we focus a little bit more on the fun. Then we get into some of our enrichment programming, like our Awesome Activity Weeks, which is a week-long program, usually held in the summer, basically a summer camp, but due to New England regulations, we just go with the term Awesome Activity Week. And then we get into our big programs, like our birthday parties and our shows, which are very lots of wow, still a lot of volunteers, still completely questioning what's going to happen, where are we going, how are we going to do this. But it's more focused on the education side, and we kind of on the entertainment side, and we kind of sneak the education in the back. So the kids are all pumped and excited. And at the end, they're kind of mad. They're like, oh, wait, we just had an hour of fun and you taught us stuff? That rude. But, and it's just, it really depends on what you're looking for and what you want to do. And we have a wide variety of topics, about 70 different hands-on workshops. We have 6 after-school programs. Each after-school program has 8 topics within that. 4 birthday parties, 4 different Awesome Activity Weeks, 7 special events, and then we also have about 25 preschool workshops. We have 2 preschool shows. So we can bring whatever you're looking for. We can usually accommodate. We have programs for indoors, outdoors, a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I think too, one of the ways that you can be a little creative as a program administrator. So we had a science fair at our school, and
Mm-hmm.
all the kids set up different science activities or some hands-on that parents could do, because we invited the parents that
Mm-hmm.
parents could do with the kids. We also set up poster boards and, your traditional science fair. But we also had Mad Science come in at the end, and then they did a show, and the parents loved it as much as the kids. So it was really cool, made our school look like rock stars, showed really in a great way how we teach science at our school. The kids were able to showcase the things that they have done throughout the first part of the year. And the parents were also able to see the really cool folks that we have come into our center.
And
So, yeah.
what's really fun about that is when we talk about science with kids, there's this misconception that I feel, and I know that everybody's opinion's wrong. My wife is a children's librarian, so we talk about this all the time. You don't have to. I refuse to talk down to a child. I absolutely, and there are so many adults and presenters and people who are like, oh, what do you think? Kids don't want that. And when I do shows, and I know that you've seen it, I try and make my shows as fun for the adults as it is for the kids because kids know I was a child a really long time ago. Uh, and I even as a kid, I remember watching TV and being like, what does this person on TV think I am? Like, I'm not some kid. Kids love it when you talk to them, and you can do a science program that's just as engaging for the adults as it is for the children.
Yeah.
Looney Tunes was famous for it. You can have something that the Muppets,
Yeah.
everybody can watch it and everybody can get something out of it, and you don't have to pander to the little kids. Kids are smarter than we ever were. Like children
Yeah.
are way smarter now. You can hand a 6-year-old a cell phone and they can go to
Hmm.
town. I
Yeah.
could barely get a record player to work when I was that age, you know?
Yeah. I think too, when you get the adults excited about science, they're going to continue to be excited about it and continue to bring it into their programs,
Yeah.
instead of just being like, oh, well, that was the 1 half hour thing, and then we're not talking about science again, right? So I think when you get the teachers excited about it, they'll continue to do it. And so that was a great segue.
Well,
So
actually, can I just jump in
yeah,
really quick?
yes, yeah.
One of the things that we love that we call extending the learning to home, and almost all of our school age workshops, all of our after school programs, with the exception of one, and we don't do it very often because I just don't like it. I don't think it's great science. Um, Involve a mad science take home, and it's usually a piece of mad science branded material, but we send an experiment home for you to do. And in addition to that, we also give you a card that this is what we talked about today for the school age kids. Because first off, as an adult with a child, I hate, hey, what did you learn today? Nothing. So this is what we talked about, but then turn it over. Here's an experiment we want you to try at home with the kids. We want you to bring the science home. We want you to use the take home, and sometimes it will be a piece of lab equipment they can bring home and do their own experiments, or a different scientific, like if we're talking about sound waves, a different way to make sound. And we want to bring that. We want that extension in the home. We want you to keep doing science when you get there.
Yeah. I think too, if you are a teacher who wants to learn more about science or love science and you want to just really expand your club, maybe you want to do something that is, summer camp is coming up, you want to make something really in depth, you should come visit Jolton Jonathan at the Early Childhood Empowerment Conference, which is coming up on May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th here in Warwick, Rhode Island. We will leave a link below, but we have quite a few school age tracks, which I'm super excited about because as somebody who's been in the school age field for a long time, we don't typically have a whole lot of conferences, especially ones that cater to having some some exciting things for our school age folks. So we really wanted to make sure that we had that. We've got loose parts play. We've got Jonathan doing one. I've got one on interest clubs in general. So yeah, definitely if like you're looking to kind of up level your game, whether it's science or just really just struggling with how am I getting my school age kids engaged, this is definitely a conference for you. So one last thing I want to ask you,
What's
and
it?
then I'm going to have you give any extra words of wisdom that I didn't ask. But every club needs a little structure to keep things on track. How can after school coordinators plan curriculum or set up recurring activities that keep kids engaged without feeling like they're in a classroom? Because, like you said, they've been in school all day. How can we just switch this up a little bit to make it long term meaningful and excited about science? Because, you could do like I said, the one time volcano experiment. That's cool. They're going to love it. But how, because there's science, like you said, everywhere. How are we getting them interested to even just see, oh, that's science and that's science, just to understand it's all around us? What kind of things can we do?
To be absolutely, completely, totally blunt, you have to be excited.
Okay.
There's kids read the room, And as an educator, you've got to read the room too.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't speak to everybody else, but I can tell you that when I walk into an after school program,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm looking at these kids and they've got the wiggles, I might have not even might, I have my curriculum planned out.
Yep.
I have bullet points of things I'd like to get done, but you got to read the room and you've got to be flexible because there are times where I'm working with children and I'm like, okay, you know what? Before we even get started, let's just get up and walk around. Just let's work it out. Let's get the energy out. But then you want to build on things. If I talk about something, if we're doing, for example, we do a lot of after school programs and each program is 6 to 8 weeks. We do, it can be any time, but those are our average 6 to 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Have a general theme like chemistry. And then every week talk about something in chemistry, but find a way to build. Make it so when we do our Crazy ChemWorks program, the first class we do is called LabWorks. And we teach you how to use the equipment. And we give you a piece of equipment that you're going to use the next week. And that's for them to keep and make it build. But the most important thing is if you're teaching them how to use lab equipment and they get excited, you might have another hour of curriculum planned. But if you've got a kid who's really excited and a whole group of children excited to oil and vinegar, just the way that it works. If they're excited about oil and vinegar,
Stay there.
stay there.
Stay.
Like, just let them go. Read the
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
If they're really excited about something and they want to talk more about that topic, and you switch gears,
Mm-hmm.
are you kidding me?
Yeah, you lost them. Yeah.
One of my biggest fears is we like to have our instructors call in after programs to let us know how it's going. And they're like, well, I had to really rush things because I wanted to get the end. Okay, we're going to have you come back in because if you don't get to the end, that's okay.
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing as an adult. We want to check all the boxes, but
Mm-hmm.
find something that the kids are interested in and then follow them.
Yeah.
Let them guide you with what you're teaching. If they ask questions, first off, it's okay to say, I don't know. Have them look it up. Next week, check back. Tell me what you learned. Let's talk about that. Read off of what they're doing. There are sometimes we do programs where when we're somewhere a lot, I'll ask the kids, okay, what do we want to do next? We've got these topics. What do you want to learn about? What do you want to see? These are your choices. Let them pick. Give them some agency and some control over what they're learning. Especially if it's an after school program. These kids have been told what to do from 8 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock when they get to us. You need to have structure, but you also need to be able to pivot. And as an education person who's working, everybody who's watching this is probably an educator, and everybody who's coming to visit us in May is an educator, whether they're a librarian, a teacher, a preschool director, a school age director. You work with kids, and if you work with kids, you have to be able to pivot.
Yeah.
And I don't see it a lot, and it's frustrating.
Yeah.
And I know why it happens, but let them guide you. Give them some agency, and that's my really lecture-y, soapboxy thing to say.
Okay. That's okay. One of the things I think is really fun and unique that I actually love about the school age piece is you typically have mixed ages. So the kids are going to be at different levels. And to me, I always love watching the younger kids and the older kids working together. There's just some coolness that happens, and you'll see the young kids typically will be the ones with 1,000 questions, but the older kids helping them through that experiment or asking the questions also is so great. And I think just going back to what's your learning goal, right? It isn't to get, like you said, the goal isn't to get these 8 facts drilled in a kid's head. It's, can they problem solve? Are they excited about science? Do they even understand science concepts? Those are the things. So whatever they're doing, and that's helping you reach those goals.
We want you to learn. And
Yeah.
that point about the mixed ages, it's really good because there are some places where they're like, well, we only want the kindergartners to work with kindergartners and first grade. And I'm like,
No.
a fifth grader working with I'm notorious for if I'm doing an after school program and I'm the
Hmm.
instructor, they're mad scientist. I'll be like, okay, fifth grader, fourth grader, third grader, second grader, first grader, put them together.
Yes.
Fifth grader, you're my team lead because you watch that fifth grader and teaching something is the best way to learn something.
Hmm.
So as they're as you see this trickle down and they're trying to explain to the little kid and it helps them learn. So you're not losing the 5-year-old. You're not boring
Yeah.
the 7-year-old.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. I absolutely love it. And it's not so necessarily much about, it's just getting you excited to learn.
Yeah.
Um, it doesn't even have to be science. Like I know that everybody, gasps when I say that, but little kids will ask me, JJ, how did you learn all this? And I read.
Yeah.
Well, what do you read? Anything. What should I read? Anything. I don't care what it is. Just read.
Yeah.
Comic books, novels, biographies, fiction, nonfiction. Just read.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think those things all go hand in hand. So let me ask you, what is your favorite program or experiment that you do with kids? Your favorite.
My favorite, that's kind of like picking which of your
Yeah.
children you like the best.
But we all know there's one. So just pick
There
one.
always is one. There always is one. There always is one. I have a favorite show, but I do have a favorite experiment. Um, we have a show called Marvels of Motion. And Marvels of Motion is a physics-based show, and 99% of the show is done with the materials that you have around the house. And the reason I love this show is almost everything that a mad scientist does, we say a lot, especially in our big shows. And I specialize in the big shows. We say, don't try this at home.
Hmm.
Marvels of Motion, try it at home. Go to town. I'm going to not just tell you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to explain how to do it. And I'm going to tell you how to do it safely at home. And I love that because the kids are so pumped to try these things at home. It's magical. And one of my favorite experiments in that is a thing called a Cartesian diver. And if you really want to see a Cartesian diver, I'm going to actually have one with me in May in Warwick. So if you really
Nice.
want to see what my favorite experiment is,
I do.
you should go to the website that's probably appearing somewhere down right around here, maybe up here right now. And I will have one and be able to demonstrate it to you because it is a simple thing that you can do at home with materials that you probably already have in your house somewhere. If not in your house, your car. When you see it, you'll understand why it's in your car. And it's absolutely mind-boggling.
And how about your least favorite experiment or show?
So here's what's great about being Jolting Jonathan is I've been doing this for 18 years. So if there's something I really, really don't like, and I have a really good relationship with the current owner, and all kinds of things like that, I just won't do it. There
Fair?
are but I am. And this is going to make a lot of people gasp, and there's going to be clutching of pearls and everything. But I absolutely hate slime.
Okay.
I hate slime, and even more than slime, I detest making cotton candy. And we make cotton candy sometimes to explain centripetal force,
Hmm.
the melting point of sugars, how
Hmm.
the sugar changes form. We do it as an add-on. And if you've ever made cotton
I
candy,
have
you
in my hair, on my arms. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
this is just a big cotton candy trap. It You spend days sneezing out pink
Yes.
cotton candy. I loathe cotton
I can
candy
relate. I can relate, John.
to
I
the to
can
the
relate.
point where it's become a joke. Not it's been known in the mad science world that there are about 2,000 mad scientists around the world, and every 2 years we get together in Montreal, and people I've never met will be like, "Oh, you're the cotton candy guy," and I'm like, "Yeah,
I love it. I love
yeah,
it.
yeah."
Oh, thank you so much
No
for being
problem.
a guest. We're super excited to have you. And for those of you who are listening, if you're ready to take your after school program to the next level and bring hands-on science to the lives of your students, then we invite you to join us. Come see us at the Early Childhood Empowerment Conference on May 2nd through the 4th in Warwick, Rhode Island. It's a weekend full of opportunities, growth, and connect your passion with all the rest of the teachers. We're going to have a great time. And as always, remember it's the small details that make a big impact on the success of your childcare business. Thank you for tuning in to the Childcare Director's Chair podcast. See you
Thank you
later.
very much.